Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Victoria's Secrets to Health and Happiness podcast. Today I am talking about how to stick to healthy habits, which I thought is really relevant for this time of year because as I'm recording this, it's actually January and there is juice cleansers flying around, there's diet plans, there's people and products and organisations jumping on the this isn't a diet bandwagon, yet you're actually taking away food groups or basically sticking to a diet plan, but they're saying it's not a diet. So in all due respect, I believe that most of these people genuinely think they're trying to help, but it doesn't help. So I also used to be one of these people who was always on a diet in January. Every conversation I had in January, it would be talking about what juice cleanse I'm doing, how much weight I want to lose, and all of that. And I just notice it so much around me, even though I've completely edited my life from diet culture, it still creeps in, it's everywhere, right? So I wanted to share with you how to build healthy habits and how to stick with them. Because after many years of failing my New Year's resolutions of losing weight, getting fit, all of the things, always the same New Year's resolutions. Within the first few weeks, I would fail and then I would just decide to give up chocolate for Lent instead, which starts around Easter. So I'd start the diet in January, fail a few weeks in, continue on that cycle, then decide, oh, sorry, I'll just give it up for Lent in Easter. And then the cycle continues. So I have finally learned how to free myself from these dreaded January diets, and I actually have stopped binge eating and I've stopped dieting because they go hand in hand, and I've actually built healthy habits that sustain me and that support the goals that I want instead of having to start every January or start every Monday. I've let go of the black or white diet mentality, which was super hard for me, really, really hard for me. But with the support of my coach, it wasn't until I allowed myself to give up black or white thinking and start flirting around in the grey area, which I like to call the colourful area, of life in general, including food and exercise. When I was in this colourful area, then and only then, was I able to fully embrace the sustainability that comes from building healthy habits because I had a healthy, balanced mindset, right? So I'm going to share with you today 7 simple steps. And most of the time, honestly, guys, all we need is simplicity, but we like to overcomplicate everything. So I'm going to share with you how to stick to healthy habits that will improve your life. And again, like I said, you won't have to be starting every Monday or every January. Okay, so if you haven't already, grab a pen and paper. I'm going to go through the steps with you now. And this is available in a blog version, so you can read it and go through the steps that way if you prefer on my website. So step number 1 is time to set some goals. But we're not going to set goals in the same way as you have previously set goals before. This time, you're going to decide what your goal is via how you want to feel. Okay, you heard that right. We're going to set goals and then therefore habits around how you want to feel. So how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel energized? Do you want to feel vibrant? Do you want to feel strong, powerful, loving, or relaxed? How do you want to feel? Okay, and when you chose the one feeling or feelings that you desire that you're not currently experiencing in your life right now, write that down. Only choose one at a time to do this process with. You can choose as many as you like when you decide how you want to feel, but only have one in mind as we go through this process. Okay, so step number 1 is set goals via asking yourself, how do you want to feel? Step number 2 is write down your why. Write down your why, and your why, I know it's quite obvious, but it's the reason why you want to feel the way that you desire to feel. So that feeling that you've just written down, why do you want to feel that way? It's your passion for wanting to achieve that feeling that you've written down. If you get clear why you want it and you write it down, you're 42% more likely to achieve your goals if you get clear and write it down. So it's worth the effort, wouldn't you say, just to write it down, okay? That's step number 2. Step number 3 is brainstorm habits that will bring with these habits the desired feeling into fruition. Okay, so literally write down in the middle of a piece of paper your desired feeling, and then around that feeling, brainstorm habits that will lead to get that desired feeling. Okay, it's important to note that when planning food and eating habits, always add things in, don't take away. For example, let's say your feeling goal as step 1 is to feel energized, right? You start with your brainstorming and you write down a few habits around that feeling of energized. And let's say you write down, stop eating sugar, cut out carbs, quit takeaways, stop watching Netflix, etc. Do you think this will lead you to feeling energized? It absolutely will not. It will actually instead cause you to focus on what you can't have, and then it will lead you to want it even more. Okay, so you will actually feel miserable, deprived, and annoyed, far from feeling energized. So instead, write down habits. So you've got the feeling in the middle, energized. You're going to write down habits that are going to add in to support the energized feeling. So for example, eating vegetables with every meal, eating a balanced amount of carbs, fats, and proteins for each meal for satiation, get 8 hours sleep a night, do something every day that you will look forward to, drink more water, work out 3 or 4 times a week, right, etc. It's a lot easier to add in instead of taking away, because if you're adding in, you'll feel energized. You'll be focusing on the things that you want to be adding in that will help you feel energized, and you won't be focused on the things that you're taking away that won't lead you to feeling energized. So step number 4, and I'm distracted because my fiance's in the background pulling all sorts of faces at me while I'm recording this, but I'm going to continue. Step number 4 is pick one habit. Okay, I will allow you to pick 3 maximum. Only pick between 1 and 3 habits to start with. So look at your brainstorm, right, that you've written your feeling in the middle. Look at your brainstorm. Pick 1 to 3 habits that you think will take you closer to that feeling goal. That's all for step 4. Step number 5 is create a plan of action. So create a plan of action now that you need to do in order to implement the habit into your life. So the questions that you would ask yourself are, when are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? And where are you going to do it? So whatever the thing is for you, I'm going to give you examples, of course, and then write it down. Plan it in your agenda. What days and times are you going to do the thing? Get someone to hold you accountable. Who can hold you accountable apart from yourself? A coach, a friend, a partner, etc. You could do it together with a friend or a partner as a joint effort. So just think like, who would you want to do this new habit with as a team? Get support, which is similar to accountability. Like, who can support you through making this change? Again, a coach can, a friend, a partner, and you can set up your environment so that it supports you. How can you change your environment so that it supports your new habit? And in order to create the best possible outcome for ourselves, we need to set up a trigger response that either replaces or immediately follows an already ingrained habit in order to perform our new habit consistently and, quote, stick to it. So for example, okay, your goal is to feel energized. The habit you've picked from your brainstorm in order to help you feel energized is to sleep for 8 hours a night. In order for you to get 8 hours, Kip, a night, you know that you need to be going to bed an hour and a half earlier than you're currently doing, right? So you also know that when you've watched 2 hours of your Netflix series back to back, you then usually get up, go and make yourself a cup of tea, and then sit back down, watch another 2 series, and then go to bed. Okay, so in order for you to go to bed 1.5 hours earlier, you would need to stop watching the other 2 series after you've made your cup of tea. Are you with me so far? Okay, so your trigger would be the first watching of those 2 series, and then you'd get up in order to go and make your cup of tea. But instead of doing that, right, you're going to get up, instead of making yourself a cup of tea, because caffeine actually has the opposite effect, it stops you from sleeping, you're going to make yourself a different hot drink. So my choice is always hot chocolate, or you can choose Horlicks, or you can choose a caffeine-free tea, right? Whatever it is, it's got to be caffeine-free. And then maybe instead of going back to sit down on the sofa where you would usually watch another 2 series, you're going to sit on a different chair and read a book just for 10 minutes whilst you drink that cup of tea or whatever it is you're drinking. And then you're going to go and make yourself ready for bed. So the trigger is you've watched 2 series, your replacement is the cup of tea with another hot drink whilst you read, whilst you're drinking it, and then you get ready for bed. So you can also take it even one step further and have your partner turn the TV off until you've gone to bed if he or she goes to bed later than you. And you can have your book ready. So when you've got up, made your hot drink, your book's there waiting for you. This is setting up your environment for success. So step 5 is very important. Step number 6 is plan of attack. I was actually not meant to say that. I was meant to say POA, but plan of attack seems the best way to say this, for any potential sabotage. Okay, so come up with a potential sabotage plan of action. So think forward to your days, your weeks, your months, and brainstorm. So again, do a brainstorm about anything that may stop you from sticking to these new healthy habits or habit that you want to implement. A new habit on average, because we're all different, takes an average of 66 days for it to feel natural for you. Okay, so if you can write it down, how far in advance, around 66 days, what might hinder you from sticking to your new habit, and then make up a plan of action or a plan of attack around these potential hindrances or blocks, you'll be flying, right? Your new habit will feel like yours before you know it. So again, I'll use an example. For example, I'll stick to the same feeling as I've been using as examples throughout this video of feeling energized, okay? So one potential hindrance that could be that your series, after you want to stop watching after 2, I know that series automatically starts a new episode automatically, right? So by the time you've got up to get your hot drink, the next episode's already started, and especially if the previous episode is left with a cliffhanger, you like so desperately want to see the start of the next episode. So I've been there, like I totally get it. But to help yourself around this situation, you could set your TV to turn itself off after the exact time it takes to watch 2 series, so use your bedtime timer on your TV, or you could simply have the remote next to you and practice self-discipline and turn the TV off the second episode has finished, so you don't get a sneak peek of the next one. Like we have Google Home, and we're always like, hey Google, turn off the television, and then she'll just turn it off. Most of the time, she speaks Dutch and English, so sometimes she gets a bit confused. So that's step number 6. The last step, and the most important one, is take action. Always take action. So the most important step is to take action and actually do the thing or the things that you've just spent all this time planning. Consistency and repetition are crucial to building a new habit. So keep connecting and reading your why, because of course you've written down your why, haven't you, from the beginning? And connect to that, and connect to the feeling you want to achieve or the feeling you desire in your life. Anytime that you feel like, oh, this is just too hard, I want to give in, like connect to why you're doing this in the first place, because it's your decision, it's your choice, like no one's making you. So take back your power and create the life that you desire. And then the only step after that is to stick to whichever you've chosen, a maximum of 3 at a time. Repeat this for around 66 days, and then choose a new habit from the brainstorm that you originally created. And I know we don't like to hear this because we want everything yesterday, but if you just imagine, if you did this for a whole year, like sticking to a habit for around 66 days, so I'm going to go with 60 days to make my maths make sense, you would have like at least, that's if you only picked one at a time, at least 6 new habits at the end of every year that served you and made your life better. Like, I know that seems like a slow way to get where you want to be, but just think like it's better than starting again every January. It's better than starting again every Monday, like with the same goal that you never stick to, right? If you want help sticking to these habits, if you want someone to support you through it all, I can help you do that. I'm an expert in that. So just reach out to me. Let me know if this has been helpful, and I really would genuinely love to hear like what your habits are and how you're going to implement them into your life. So share them with me. Okay, I love you all, and I will see you next week. Mwah!